All right, so we got a cliche topic, but it's so close to the truth that I can speak from experience that it does get easier and better in time. Okay, when I was actively drinking and I'd watch sobriety channels and you know intervention and all these to like try to motivate me and inspire me, they always say it gets easier with time. And people commenting that have had sober sprees, sober time, it gets easier with time. And I'm like, man, like, does it? Does it though? Like, because you're stuck in that rut of like a week to 4 weeks where you go sober, you drink, you get to 2 months, you drink, 3 months, you drink. And I always knew the key for me was to beat my personal best from like 5 years ago, 4 months, because I knew I felt great then, and I don't even know why I drank. When I hit 3 and 4 months, those times, I hit 3 months like twice and 4 months once. And I've went 2 months, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, numerous times. But the long sprees, I don't even know why I drank. I think it was like a casual, like, oh, I can moderate. And it falls right back into the weekend binging. Even there were times I'd only binge drink once a month. It was still a hindrance to me, okay? But I knew and it was like a mental barrier thing. I had to get past 120 days. I had to do it for myself. And once I did, I started making content and I felt more confident in myself. I'm like, I'll never get 4 months it's not a long time, but it is, especially when you have a relapse and you were 3 months in. And you're like, man, I only had a month to go, and you reset and you have to hit 120 days again from the start. It is so aggravating. That's why I refuse to ever even contemplate drinking again. I would have the worst hangover and I would have such regret. Like, and my family and friends that know I'm on this journey, they would be shocked. Like, I got too much riding now, and I'm doing it for myself because I'm not going back to that pit. But I'm telling you, when I hit 4 months, when I hit 6 months, 8 months, and now I'm going on 9 months, every month or two, it gets better and easier. That grip goes. Like I say, get to 4 weeks, get to 3 months, then get to 6 months, and then worry about your year. You got to give it time. And when you're stuck in that rut, it's so hard to give it time. You're like, man, it's not going to get easier. It's not, I want to drink. You're fighting, you're battling mentally, you're going back and forth nonstop. It's a war in your head with it, right? And people that don't struggle with it don't understand that. They go, oh, just don't drink. Well, they don't realize the mentality behind the addiction. They don't get it. People that can go and have a glass of wine once a month or a few beers once a month and be done with it, they don't have that allergen you or I do, right? Where you're like, you have to have more. One's one too many, one more's never enough, right? If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Like, once you go, you don't stop till you can't drink no more. You're puking or you're passed out, right? They don't get that. They can't relate to that. But anyways, I'm telling you, in time it gets easier, and you're always gonna struggle with it, but that grip loosens. Those cravings loosen back. And, sometimes they'll come back and shock you, like, oh my God, that's scaring me. But instead of like the 2-hour deliberations, it's like 5 minutes. And instead of it happening every Friday and Saturday night, the first few weeks, it happens like once a month, once every 2 or 3 months. And I hope I can speak on having years under my belt, because I'm sure it'll only happen maybe twice a year, if even that. Like, and it passes so quick. It gets easier. It's like you're mentally training against it. It's hard to explain. I always knew if I got past that 4 months and I just kept going, it would get easier. And everyone says this stuff, and it does. And your brain starts working better. You're not putting it under duress. You're not killing brain cells. Your body's regenerative. Besides certain organs, there's damage that isn't reversible. And you got to be careful, You got to be careful. So the younger you stop, and if you're drinking every day, that's a topic I can't speak on. You're doing more damage. You're drinking to excess way more than I ever did, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, you got to give it time. And it seems like forever. I remember waking up with a hangover and not even remembering drinking sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, I drank. Oh my gosh, the shame. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm back to day one again. It used to bother me. Some people don't believe in counting days or months. I don't really count. I'm like, basically, I was counting days there for a couple sober sprees. That can become exhausting. I'll count the months now. Like, I know my sobriety date's like the fourth of the month. So every fourth, I celebrate a new month. Some people argue against that. I do it. I want to track that. I would not recommend every day. Just like weighing in every week for weight loss, or every day for weight loss. I don't agree with that. I weigh in weekly or bi-weekly. It's a whole other topic, but I count the months. I've heard people say, "Oh, you're destined to fail if you're just logging your days and all this." Bull crap. Do you do what you want to do? I just feel like daily thinking about it can become exhausting. So be careful with that. You do as you will. But I can speak from 9 months now that it does get easier. And I'm sure people that have years will say it's drastically easier with 2 years than it is from 1 year, and so on and so forth. Every day sober is a good day. And I never wake up and regret not drinking. I'm never like, I wish I went out last night. I wish I spent that money. I wish I got blasted drunk and had all these regrets, you know? And take it a day at a time, which is a whole other ball game. You know, this will be a whole other video, but a lot of people mention how they get through sobriety is they'll play this mental trick on themselves. And I'll make another video on this, but I'll share it now. If you make it to the end of this video, you can hear this. I don't really do this too often. I was mentally doing it, and it sort of works. Like, don't take it a day at a time and say, I don't know if I'll be sober in a week. I don't know if I'll be sober tomorrow, but I know today I'll be sober. Take it a day at a time. I don't utilize this as much now that I'm many months in, but a lot of people say it works for them. You know, maybe I'll drink tomorrow night, but I know I won't drink tonight, and do that every Friday, Saturday, Sunday if you're a weekend drinker, or every day if you drink every day. I might drink in a week. A lot of people battle with thinking they're never going to drink again, right? And like I said, I'll make a video on this topic, but they quit, and then they struggle with knowing they'll never drink again, right? Years of their life ahead of them, and they just can't fathom not having a drink for that unlimited amount of time until they pass away, right? So it exhausts them mentally, and they end up relapsing because of it. I'm not really struggling with that. Like, you have to, in time, with sober time, you got to come to terms with, hey, you're just better off without it, and in general. But earlier on, it's a very mentally straining thing for people to think about that. Like, oh my gosh, it's almost like a grievance topic where, like, you lost a good friend or something. Like alcohol is like this really good friend you have to let go of, and it's a struggle. And it was for me too. So that technique, just, I know I won't drink today. Maybe I'll drink tomorrow or in a week. Some people may not agree with that stigma too. They might say, just be done with it 100%, blah, blah, blah. But it helps people get through day to day going, who knows in a week, who knows tomorrow, but today I'm staying sober. And that sort of alleviates that whole, like, years of never being able to drink again. It's a lot for people, right? So that might be a tip that helps. I don't really utilize it, but I'm pretty much at terms with hopefully never drinking again. And it doesn't bother me, but, you know, really catastrophic things could happen to anybody, and I hope I'm strong enough to get through that, but who knows, you know? I really hope some events that occur in my future, everyone's going to have depressing times, right? And if you can get through them, it'll make the easier times that much easier, right? But who knows? I could get Chuck Norris right right in the face tomorrow by a situation, and it may trigger me. We'll see, but I hope I get through it. But that's about it. You know, it's a good topic. Hopefully you take something from it.